at 4.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 4 on this Friday afternoon. Made it to the end of the week.
We did. It's Friday, everyone.
It's Friday, and it's a little bit snowy. The weather is our top story today. We're bringing you team coverage at 4 as our First Warn weather team is tracking very cold wind chills. And Blaze got the short straw. He's out on the weather patio.
Yeah. Keeping everyone informed. We are expecting some snow this afternoon to add on to what we have already had last night. Arman Rahman is out on the roads showing you how they are in our area.
But let's begin today with First Warn meteorologist Blaze Keller.
Hey, Blaze, what can you tell us about that bitter cold and snow on the way?
Well, the snow is going to arrive first, and then the bitter cold arrives as we head into the end of the weekend and sticks with us through at least Tuesday of next week. But in the full forecast, we'll take a look at maybe a second round of Arctic air by the time we go into next weekend. So on Radar 3000, the snow is starting to pick back up. We had a brief break from it from about the late morning into the early afternoon. Now we are beginning to see Radar 3000 fill back up with those snow showers. It's been snowing pretty consistently over Richland Center, really across all of Richland County. This is where we find the heaviest snow activity right now, just north of Muscoda, essentially over Richland Center, south of Rockbridge. We'll take it south into the Mount Horeb area, Belleville, Monticello, in southern parts of Dane County, in northern parts of Greene County, dealing with some light snow as well. That could make its way into parts of the Beltline over the next hour or so, but compared to what we're seeing out in Richland Center, not as heavy. Some snowflakes are trying to get going here outside of the studio on the southwest side of Madison, so likely that snow making its way up along 151. We are going to continue to watch as scattered snow showers stick around throughout the rest of your evening commute, overnight, and then into your Saturday as well. Saturday night into Sunday, we get a brief break, and then we see another round of snow Sunday afternoon into Sunday night, and then the cold moves on in. So we'll take a look in the first half of Live at 4, how much snow we could see between now and the end of the weekend, if there's any more snow chances, and then we'll talk about that bitter cold. But for now, I'm going to send it to Arman, who's out giving us a live look of the roads across southern Wisconsin.
And before we get to Arman, here's a live look at some of the conditions out there. So far, traffic is moving at a reasonable clip. Not too busy out there. Of course, everyone is used to winter, but when it is snowy, when it is cold, make sure you give yourself enough time and space so you don't get into any fender benders. We want you to be careful.
That is very good advice. And if you're just heading out the door or waiting for loved ones to get home on this Friday evening, let's get a first-hand look at the road conditions right now.
Yeah, there's Arman Rahman right now. Arman, how's the driving going?
Hey guys, I'm here on the west side of Madison right now in the residential streets. Let's take a look here right now at what we are seeing now. If you are on the residential streets, you'll notice that they are not plowed. City plow crews say because only about 2 inches of snow fell last night, it was not enough to declare a city-wide plowing day. So if those potential snowstorms that Blaze was mentioning do move in later today, they're going to add on top of the snowpack that's already on these residential roads. The main thoroughfares, they remain pretty clear at this time, even though there's no snow falling right now. Things remain pretty clear on the main streets. However, these side roads still pretty heavily filled with snow. So if you're going down these, especially if you're going on these hilly side roads here without all-wheel drive, you might want to be a little bit extra careful. Our vehicle does have all-wheel drive right now. So as you can see, the snow not really presenting too much of an issue at the moment. However, if those snowstorms do move in, those snow squalls, then obviously they can present some very slippery road conditions across the county right now. Things are looking pretty good. A little bit of a green light there for many of those county highways and side streets. We'll be here all throughout the night, checking in and monitoring these roadways to make sure your evening commute and Friday night commute are as smooth and as safe as they can be. For now, reporting now on the west side of Madison, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Arman, thank you. And just to be clear, Arman is in the passenger seat. We have another coworker driving, so it is safe and above board there. Well, track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather.
In Janesville, a man accused of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl and abducting her from a home in Janesville has pleaded not guilty. Daniel Munoz is charged with repeated sexual assault of the same child, using a computer to facilitate a child sex crime, strangulation, and suffocation, among other crimes. A criminal complaint alleges he sexually assaulted a teenage girl multiple times at a home in Milton, with alleged videos of the act on the victim's phone. At his arraignment this morning, he pleaded not guilty. A jury trial in the case will be set for a later date.
Olbrich Botanical Gardens wants public input regarding its future endeavors.
Our Maya Tate has more on what the gardens need from the public. Maya?
Brady and Susan, the Olbrich Botanical Gardens is looking to upgrade their space for the first time in over 20 years, and they want the public's input on what to do with the future of the space. Looking at aging infrastructure and possible expansions to keep up with the growing Madison and Dane County area. After a survey of 610 visitors conducted last summer, Olbrich estimated that visitors to the garden contributed to $20.1 million of the Dane County economy.
So we know that because Madison and Dane County are growing so fast, we're going to see more guests in the future as well. And so we want to be able to plan for that, to welcome additional people to the gardens, to reap all the benefits of being in nature. We're inviting the public to come and share their feedback and their hopes and their dreams and what they want to see out of the gardens as well, because we really see this as a chance to grow with Madison.
The first set of public workshops to discuss the plans are identical and will be at noon and 6 p.m. on Thursday, January 22nd at Olbrich Botanical Gardens. There will be activities for kids as well as refreshments during the meeting. Future workshops will be in March and May for feedback and to share the final plans. Although registration is optional to attend the workshops, you can get more information at olbrich.com/future. Reporting live from Olbrich Gardens, Maya Tate, News 3 Now.
Maya, thank you. At Middleton High School, students in the Center for Advanced Professional Studies, or CAPS program, are trading traditional classrooms for real-world experience, from business solutions and digital media to science research and education. These juniors and seniors spend their semester working on projects with local partners and then showcase their work to families and mentors. The program has grown to 50 students this semester, with another 30 starting soon.
I think just getting them in a professional environment in something other than a traditional school is it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that they're ready to take on. It's preparing them for life after high school.
I think that a lot of kids want something more. A lot of kids wish that they could do more real life things rather than just study and take a test. I think a lot of kids want something new, and this is something new and innovative.
Isabel says CAPS helped her narrow down future careers by turning classroom knowledge into hands-on experience. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Well, next on Live at 4, even though the Packers are out of the playoffs, the road to the Super Bowl is just heating up. We'll show you when you can watch one of those games this weekend right here on WISC TV.
And then Eagles, Raptors, beer, and cheese.
Oh my.
Josh Spreiter has everything going on in our area in the 608.
Plus, a major change in American politics is forming in the youngest voting age population, why they're saying results matter more than a letter.
But first, Blaze is tracking the First Warn forecast on a busy weather day.
Live at 4.
It's our favorite day of the week here on Live at 4.
It's Friday.
Happy Friday, everyone. And you know that means we're working for the weekend in the 608.
Josh Spreiter joins us in the studio with his 3 things to do this weekend.
January is already half over, so if you're looking to enjoy a thing or two yet this month, here's a look at some of what's happening this weekend in the 608. The Wisconsin DNR is inviting the public to bald eagle watching days. This is happening both Saturday and Sunday. The free event runs along the Wisconsin River, where visitors can watch bald eagles from a newly renovated overlook on Water Street. DNR volunteers will be on hand to help spot eagles and answer questions. Family-friendly activities include live raptor shows, an eagle release video, and educational programs at Sauk Prairie High School. Beer lovers and cheese fans can get together for Beer and Cheese Fest 2026. This is happening Saturday afternoon at the Alliant Energy Center from 2 to 6. The annual event brings together Wisconsin craft breweries and artisan cheesemakers for a day of sampling, pairing, and a celebration of the state's signature flavors. You can taste a wide variety of beers and cheeses, meet local producers, and enjoy live entertainment throughout the event. You can still get your tickets online right now. And happening tonight, you can kick off your Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend with fellowship and food at the Gordon Dining Event Center at UW. Dinner is served buffet style from 4:30 to 7 this evening, and there's no cost to attend. Organizers say this is an opportunity to share a wonderful meal with friends, old and new, in Dr. King's spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood. For more happenings this weekend in the 608, just go to channel3000.com. I'm Josh Breiter, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Josh. Have a good weekend. And you can also watch Josh every morning and noon right here on News 3 Now.
And let's get a check of our weather. It actually got above freezing this afternoon, but just for a little while. And snow and some below zero wind chills are going to be rushing in, Blaze.
And that's right. The snow first and then the dangerous cold. So again, later on in Live at 4, we're going to really touch on that cold air because we could be dealing with 2 rounds of Arctic air over the next 7 to 10 days. The snow moved in this morning and it is going to continue to stick around pretty much throughout the rest of the weekend, beginning to fill in across western parts of Radar 3000, across southern Wisconsin into Vernon, Crawford, as well as Richland counties. We go Richland Center stretching all the way back to Viroqua, into Freeman, Boscobel, along 61 into Highway 14. We're dealing with that more heavier snow, and it's been falling for, I would say, probably the last hour or so, beginning to push into Lone Rock as well. Let's take it on over into Black Earth, Fitchburg. That's where we also find near Rutland 2 and Primrose, all the way out west into Mount Horeb along 151. Another round of some light to moderate snow. It will start to move into the Beltline here over the next hour. Not as intense as what we're seeing out to our west, but we may be dealing with an occasional snow squall here over the next 24 to 48 hours. So that alert will be sent directly to your phone. That is an intense short burst of moderate to heavy snow mixing in with breezy conditions, and that could reduce visibilities very quickly. But you can see that this low pressure system, the first one of 2 that will impact us, is bringing snow across a lot of the Midwest. This same low pressure system sent cold air all the way down to parts of Florida, where it was 22 degrees for an overnight low in Jacksonville, Florida, and we got to 23. So this cold air is plunging its way south, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. An additional 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches of snow possible by the time all this wraps up later this weekend. There's our first low pressure system, still bringing us some snow, but beginning to push off towards the east later Saturday. We do get a break from the snow Saturday night into the start of Sunday, and then there's our next clipper system bringing in yet another round of snow. And again, we may be dealing with 1 or 2 snow squalls on Sunday before our strong high pressure system moves on in, clears out everything, and helps bring down that cold Arctic air. We're looking at about 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches of snow between now and Monday. And again, this is going to be light and fluffy on top of what we picked up this morning, which is about 1 to 2 inches across southern Wisconsin. So this is just our latest round of snow, and we certainly could use it. Madison, we just got over 2 inches of snow for the month, and we usually pick up 14. So we've got to really start accumulating some snow here over the next couple of days. And again, a snow squall or 2 may be possible over the weekend. Those alerts will be sent directly to your phone. It's a sudden burst of heavy snow, gusty conditions, which, especially if you're on the road, can cause whiteout conditions. Slow down if you're on the road, if you think you're coming into maybe not even a snow squall, but a heavier round of snow. And if you can, ease off to the side of the road, wait it out, because you really don't want to be traveling in these bad road conditions. So there is a look at our 7 and 10 day forecast. Single-digit highs on Monday, and then look ahead to next weekend. That's our second round of Arctic air. In the second half of Live at 4, we're going to talk about all of this cold and when we may start to warm on up in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, we're looking forward to that. Thank you. A quick programming note. Tomorrow, you can catch the NFL divisional round right here on WISC TV. The Buffalo Bills face off against the Denver Broncos at 3:30, and the winner advances to the AFC Championship game.
Coming up on Live at 4, soldiers from several NATO alliance nations are being deployed in Greenland as a deterrent to President Trump's threats of annexation.
And protesters have clashed once again with federal agents in Minneapolis as we're learning more about the fatal injuries and initial response to the shooting of Renee Good.
America is moving closer to measles no longer being considered eradicated. Plus, other infectious diseases are emerging, raising concerns for healthcare workers.
And then, after not being able to contact their families since an internet blackout in Iran, we hear from protesters who are asking for action.
Was down 83 points. The Nasdaq is down 14. The S&P 500 lost 4.5.
Voters are breaking away from traditional party labels in record numbers. A new Gallup poll shows 45% of Americans now identify as independents, 2% more than this time last year, and that's up 7% from 10 years ago. This trend is strongest among Gen Z voters, where more than half say they now identify as independents. While young voters are generally leaning Democratic, the average support has dropped by 13% in the last 10 years. Experts say frustration with both parties and issue-based voting could make independents a deciding force in future elections.
President Trump is renewing his call for Minnesota's elected officials to do more to quell the anti-ICE protests. Yesterday, he threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act and send in federal troops.
CBS's Ian Lee shows us violent confrontations between protesters and ICE agents are happening on a daily basis.
Destiny Jackson was driving her family home from basketball practice Wednesday night when they got caught between protesters and ICE agents in Minneapolis.
Everybody's seeing what happened with Renee.
Officers started yelling at them to move. Before they could, Jackson says the agents released a canister of tear gas under the car.
Within seconds, there was a big boom and our car was up in the air and we slammed down.
The mom of 6 says strangers helped get her family out of the car. The last, her 6-month-old baby boy.
And he was like lifeless, foam or bubbles coming out of his mouth. I had to give him mouth-to-mouth and CPR. And all I remember is like between every breath I was saying, I'm gonna give you every breath I have until you get yours back.
Accounts like Jackson's are piling up and drawing widespread criticism of how ICE agents are going about their stated objective, arresting and deporting people who are in the U.S. illegally.
Just the tip of the iceberg.
Democratic Congress members held an unofficial hearing in St. Paul where they heard from 20-year-old Mubashir, a U.S. citizen who was detained while on his lunch break.
They dragged me outside and put me into a headlock on the ground. I repeated, I'm a citizen, I have an ID. The agent kept saying, that don't matter.
Earlier this week, vandals smashed a federal vehicle and took items out of it. At the White House, President Trump reiterated he's willing to invoke the Insurrection Act to stop the violence.
I don't think there's any reason right now to use it, but if I needed it, I'd use it.
CBS News has obtained internal DHS data that shows throughout the United States, ICE has more than 70,000 people facing deportation in its custody, the most in the agency's 23-year history. Ian Lee, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Destiny Jackson says her children who were trapped in the car, including the six-month-old, are physically fine but traumatized, and she says they're not sleeping.
President Trump is threatening tariffs against countries that do not support his Greenland acquisition plan. The president made the comments today as a bipartisan group of lawmakers visited Denmark to show support for the NATO ally. Greenland is a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark. This week, European nations sent additional troops to the strategically located island at Denmark's request.
We spoke about the value of NATO and the commitment to respecting the core principles of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and self-determination.
Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski says Congress controls federal spending and could intervene if President Trump tries to take over Greenland. Meanwhile, Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado praised President Trump for the U.S. capture of former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The comment comes a day after Machado gave Trump her Nobel Peace Prize medallion.
It's a rising problem around the world. Emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases can spread quickly. They can be persistent and unable to be controlled.
With patches of low vaccination rates in the U.S. becoming more common and issues like the overuse of antibiotics, some illnesses that were once treatable are making a comeback. Mandy Gaither tells us more.
They're illnesses that are easily spread. Emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases can be transmitted through travel, bugs, or by those who are unprotected by vaccination and remain a major concern.
All of these infectious disease threats, the reason we don't have to worry about them is not because they vanished, It's because we have tools that we have deployed to control them.
Dr. Amish Adalja with Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security says those tools are being underutilized. His top 5 list of infectious diseases to watch out for in 2026 starts with measles. As of Tuesday, there have been 171 confirmed cases reported in 2026 in the U.S. There were more than 2,200 confirmed measles cases last year.
The U.S. will likely lose its measles elimination status later this month.
Next, avian flu remains a top concern. Adalja says these viruses circulate naturally through birds and can spread to other animals.
The 1918 influenza pandemic was an avian influenza outbreak that turned into a worldwide pandemic.
Third, Adalja says a family of contagions called filoviruses, which include Ebola and Marburg virus, continue to be a threat in Africa and are spreading.
And we continue to see new countries experience outbreaks of these viral hemorrhagic fevers that can be very difficult to contain.
Fourth, Mpox, which causes flu-like symptoms and a rash and is spread through intimate contact or contaminated items like bedding. Adalja says the Mpox vaccine can help, but many of those at high risk aren't getting it. Finally, insect-borne illnesses like Oropouche virus spread through mosquitoes and biting midges, and anaplasmosis spread by ticks, which he says is spreading in the U.S.
People know about Lyme disease, but they might not know about anaplasmosis, which can be more severe.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. Adalja says for a country to be designated to have eliminated measles, it would mean for more than a year there have been no continued spread of the illness through local outbreaks.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, Wisconsin state budget is coming in above expectations. We'll tell you where the money came from and how the state could use it.
And whole milk could be hitting your student's school cafeteria again. We'll hear what this change means for Wisconsin dairy farmers. Then we're inviting Miss Madison 2025 to the studio to talk with us ahead of the 100th annual Miss Madison pageant.
And a string of alert days are going to start out next week. There's a frosty looking shot out of one of our weather cams. First, we have some snow on the way and then a big drop in our temperatures. Blaze will have all the details coming up.
Forward.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Live at 4 on this Friday. We have a wintry weekend on the way.
And we want you to stay safe, so we have team coverage to get you prepared. It is an active weather afternoon going into the busy weekend that ends in a string of alert days.
Meteorologist Blaze Keller is on the patio with the First Warn forecast.
And Arman Rahman is out on a live drive keeping track of quickly changing road conditions.
But let's begin on this Friday evening with Blaze on the patio. Blaze, snow and cold, a little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Right now, we've started to see some snow falling here outside the studio in southwestern parts of Madison. Winds are starting to pick on up, so we're dealing with the snow right now. After this wraps up later this weekend, we then deal with one of maybe 2 rounds of Arctic air. So let's take it in across parts of southern Wisconsin on Radar 3000, out near the Mississippi River in Crawford County, really stretching from the Mississippi River all the way back into central Wisconsin. We're dealing with some of that snow. Eastman into Freeman, Soldiers Grove, Gaze Mills, into Richwood, into Richland County, dealing with more of that heavier snow activity, pushing out of Richland Center into more of Ithaca, as well as Sandusky, into Plain as well, beginning to cross maybe out of Richland County into Sauk County. We'll then take it out into Rock County, where we do find some of that snow shower activity, not only in the Footville area, but beginning to make its way into Rock, out of Beloit into parts of Janesville along 39 and into Dane County we go, staying mainly south of the Beltline right now, stretching from Fitchburg all the way back north and east into McFarland. As I said, a little bit of snow here as well on the southwest side of Madison. And these snow showers are going to continue on and off throughout the rest of this evening, overnight, and into your entire Saturday, picking up an additional 1 to 3 inches of snow by the time things all wrap up later Sunday evening. We talked about the snow. Now we got to talk about the 2 rounds of Arctic air we could see over the next 10 days. I'll head back into the studio and we'll talk about that later on in Live at 4.
Okay, Blaze, thank you. Let's take a live look now at some of our First Warn weather traffic cams. There's the Beltline at Verona Road. Traffic is moving smoothly, no problems there, but it's the side roads that still, a lot of them haven't been plowed. They're still snow covered and slippery, and it's the start of a long 3-day weekend for a lot of people, and a good thing. thing because no kids will be at the bus stop on Monday morning.
Yeah, looking on the bright side there. Well, let's get a look at those road conditions that Susan was mentioning.
Our Arman Rahman is on the road tonight. Hi, Arman. Where are you and how's it looking where you are?
We are on the west side of Madison, giving you an idea of how these unplowed side streets are doing as the snow. We are beginning to see some flakes come down as we wait and see if those potential snowstorms do move in, because then could make these side streets a little bit dicey. So definitely make sure to give yourself a little bit of extra time on your evening commute. Although the main streets still remain pretty melted, actually, and so not much snow on there. Pretty clear as well, and those plows will obviously be out doing the main thoroughfares as needed this evening. Again, those flakes beginning to fall here on the west side of Madison, and these side streets remaining a little more snow-packed than usual, so give yourself some extra time. If you see plows out on the road, make sure to give them some extra room as well. Don't try to pass them, even if there isn't any snow falling or snow on the ground right now. You want to make sure to stay safe around those plows. And again, we'll be out here on the west side of Madison. On the east side of Madison, we'll be driving around trying to get an idea of some of those road conditions to give you an idea of what you need to look out for as you commute through the night. For now, reporting live on the west side, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
All right, Arman, we appreciate it. Thank you. You be safe out there, too. And you can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn Weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather.
This week, President Trump signed bipartisan legislation allowing school cafeterias to serve whole milk.
And this comes after a long debate about whether milk fat is helpful or harmful for children. Our Maren Rosen is here with more. Maren?
Yeah, since 2012, any schools participating in the National School Lunch Program has only served non-fat or 1% milk to reduce children's risk of obesity and cardiovascular diseases. Since 1990, federal dietary guidelines have suggested children ages 2 and up should only consume skim or low-fat milk to limit consumption of saturated fats. But new guidelines released last week encourage Americans to drink more of it. The dairy industry lobbied for the change, saying there's no evidence whole milk is harmful to children.
This is just a huge win for dairy. The more that we can see people continuing to drive demand for dairy and making sure that we have outlets for our milk and places for people to consume that nutritious product, that's a win across the board.
Dairy farmers in Wisconsin are optimistic about the much-needed boost to local dairy operations. I spoke to a local dairy farmer in Fox Lake about what this legislation will mean for her business and the industry. More at 5.
We're looking forward to that. We'll see you at 5, Maren. Thank you. Culver's in Middleton looks like it's going to a new location. The franchise says it plans to buy Fitzgerald's Supper Club on Parmenter Street, just a block away, with plans of paying nearly twice its market value, $4 million. The current location has been there since 1992. Culver's representatives say a new location would offer a larger parking lot, better access, and greater traffic flow. Middleton is now starting a traffic impact analysis, which Culver's will pay for, along with agreeing to cover the cost of a possible traffic signal or turn lane. Well, Iranians are taking part in funerals for those killed in a wave of protests, which authorities have dismissed as riots.
A senior U.S. official told USA Today they estimate at least 2,000 people have been killed in demonstrations, calling for the end of clerical rule in the nation. Our Eric Franke tells us about a protest involving local Iranians and their plea for action. Eric?
Brady, Susan, Iran is enduring its most extensive internet blackout on record, lasting 8 days now, making it essentially impossible for local Iranians to contact their families. And this afternoon, protesters gathered outside the Wisconsin state capitol, calling attention to what they describe as a brutal crackdown on demonstrators. They say the Iranian Revolutionary Guard has not only shut down the internet, but also phone service, cutting off contact with loved ones and silencing dissent.
Last Thursday, 9 p.m., they shut down the electricity, they shut down the internet, and there's been no connections with the families back in Iran. And at the same time, they're butchering the people like in the streets.
We want people in the capital to hear us. We want them to call the senators. We want them to call the president. We want help. People in Iran are barehanded. They are unarmed. We have no help.
Now, earlier this week, Iran's foreign minister has pledged not to execute prisoners after President Donald Trump threatened action against the regime, telling protesters that help was on the way. And earlier this week, Iran's foreign minister reiterated that pledge not to execute prisoners after the threat by President Trump, again promising that help is on the way. Susan Brady.
Eric, thank you. We're 5 months away from finding out who will be the next justice on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Right now, there are 2 candidates vying for that spot.
This week, the campaigns reported their fundraising numbers for last year. Political reporter Ellie LaLiberte breaks down the numbers and tells us why they matter.
The Liberal candidate in this race has raised 10 times more than the Conservative candidate. Chris Taylor has raised over $2.5 million, while Maria Lazar has raised more than $200,000. It is important to note that Taylor got into the race in May and Lazar in October. Now, some context here. Last spring, spending for the Wisconsin Supreme Court race surpassed $100 million, according to the Brennan Center for Law.
Those big numbers are out there. In this race, people are going to look at this race and say, well, how are you doing compared to that one? This is a different dynamic because the majority is not in jeopardy for the Liberals and the Conservatives can't win it. So they're going to have to figure out how to stay in the game.
Liberal candidates have won 4 of the past 5 Supreme Court races in Wisconsin. Even if the Liberals lose the April election, they will still hold the majority through at least 2028. The election is April 7th.
Thank you, Ellie. Also this week, candidates in the race for governor are reporting fundraising numbers. To hear what to pay attention to in those reports, you can watch For the Record this Sunday at 10:30 a.m.
Well, next on Live at 4, the Miss Madison pageant is celebrating its 100th competition this weekend.
Wow, how about that? I'm sitting down with Miss Madison 2025 to talk about this year's competition.
And a Madison firefighter is being honored for over 2 decades of service. How Matt Thomas made wishes come true in his community.
Well, we are taking a live look at St. Ignace, Michigan at the Wawatam Lighthouse. Very wintry there. The weather there is 24 degrees with increasing snow. Now, this is one of the oldest European cities in Michigan, founded in 1671. It's located in the Upper Peninsula on the northern side of the Straits of Mackinac. Well, the Miss Madison competition is holding its 100th anniversary pageant this Saturday at the Overture Center. The winner will advance to the Miss Wisconsin pageant. Here to help us celebrate this big milestone is Miss Madison 2025, Jasmine Peck. Welcome to Live at 4.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, first of all, what has this ride been like for you this last year?
Wow, I don't think words can really describe it, actually. It's been a whirlwind. So I actually started competing when I was 17. I grew up in a small town on the East Lake side of Wisconsin, and I started competing because I was like, I grew up watching Miss St. Francis, which is where I'm from, and I said, I want to be her when I grow up. And I started competing. I went to Miss Wisconsin, and I like to say I caught the pageant bug. And then I started competing here for Miss Madison, and I earned first runner-up at Miss Wisconsin, and it's all because of the volunteers, and especially Tara. Shout out to her. She's my director. She has been an incredible support system for me.
And congratulations on everything.
Thank you. Yes.
What does this pageant mean to you and the other contestants who are taking part in it? How special is it?
Yeah, so I guess I'll just explain what the Miss America organization really is. It's it's a scholarship organization for young women who have attended college or who are going to college. And so it starts higher level nationwide, and then it goes down to Miss Wisconsin and even locals, and it's fully run by volunteers. So overall, this is a way for us to improve our interview skills, public speaking skills, and even community service initiatives. And particularly mine is Healing Hearts Together, supporting foster care, inspired by my family's experience caring for a foster child.
Yeah, and I have read a little bit about you, and I know that you're very close with your mom. She's here today. I got to meet her. She's over there.
Behind the studio.
And I know that you're using your platform to kind of uplift other women and talk about your mom. Tell me what you're doing and why is that important?
Yes, yes. And like I was saying before, I started when I was 17 competing because I said I wanted to be Miss St. Francis, or I just wanted to get started. But I was unsure because I thought I didn't have the resources to do it. I didn't have an expensive evening gown, and I thought I needed to have the money to do so. But because of all the volunteers in the organization, we have so many resources, costumes, evening gowns, etc., to be able to fulfill our dreams, to actually go on the stage, create those networking connections, and just build a sisterhood with Friends for a Lifetime.
You're doing great work and amazing using your platform to do so.
Thank you.
Remind people, where can they see the Miss Madison pageant?
Yes, it is at the Overture Center, right kind of in the heart of downtown Madison. Tickets are $22. You can get them on missmadison.org. Doors open at 3 and the show starts at 4. And we have 24 young women vying for the title, 11 for the teen and 13 for the Miss. And we actually have Grace Stanke, a former Miss America, who was previously a Miss Madison, emceeing the event. So we're excited to kind of welcome her home today.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, and good luck to everyone who's competing.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Well, let's get a look at our weather words. Well, it's very snowy out there, but some people are enjoying it. Don't you want to go sledding, Blaze?
No.
No? You were working. No time.
No, because I don't have snow pants, and I don't really want to deal with, especially wet socks. I don't care about like the cold, but I just don't want wet socks. But I'm glad the kids finally have some snow to enjoy. Hopefully, and I don't foresee any major warm up between now and Monday, it'll stick around. We'll only add to the snow on the ground. So hopefully Monday, despite the cold, they can get out and enjoy some of that snow. Speaking of snow, we're looking at about 1, 2, maybe 3 isolated spots of 4 inches of snow on top of what we picked up already by the time the weekend ends. We have 2 clipper systems moving through southern Wisconsin and really moving through the Midwest. The first one is bringing our snow right now on Radar 3000. You can always get the latest radar on our weather app or by heading over to our website if you have to go out and about this evening. This is our first clipper system, and it moves its way eastward as we go further into Saturday. An incoming high-pressure system will dry us out Saturday night before a second clipper system moves in on Sunday. This one not only brings another round of light, fluffy snow, but it helps usher in yet another high-pressure system. Both of those are going to pull down the Arctic air that is going to sit over us starting later Sunday night through Tuesday, probably late afternoon. Wind chill values waking up on Sunday, 10 to 15 degrees below zero. Monday, thankfully, it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so the kids don't have to be outside in this cold, but we're looking at wind chill values 25 to 35 degrees below zero. Tuesday, a little bit better, not seeing the 20s and 30s, but still going to feel about 15 to 25 degrees below zero. Waking up on Tuesday, we'll likely see some school delays, and you can always get those here at Channel 3 or at channel3000.com. You can tune in Tuesday morning with Savannah. She'll let you know if there's any school delays. Why are we going to continue to stay cooler than average? Well, we've got a big cutoff low pressure system just parked over the Hudson Bay. And based on how the jet stream is going to orientate itself or set up, bringing in warmer air along the west coast, we're just going to be hit with a continuous stream, more or less, of northwesterly winds, pulling down not only Canadian air, but Arctic air as all of that circulates around this low pressure system, pulling down cold Arctic air and moving it south. So we're not going to be breaking down or saying goodbye to these cooler than average temperatures, not only for the next 7 to 10 days, but possibly even into the start of February. So we have said goodbye to the warm start of January, and we are trading it for much cooler temperatures. 2 alert days, Monday and Tuesday. And if we continue to see that Arctic blast by next weekend, we'll likely have to issue more alert days for next weekend, with those single-digit highs returning by next Saturday.
All right, Blaze, thank you. The Madison Fire Department is honoring Lieutenant Matt Thomas as he retires after more than 26 years of service. He began volunteering in 1993 and joined Madison's full-time force in 1999, serving as a firefighter, an engineer, and lieutenant, while also spending 21 years on the hazmat team. Thomas helped develop the city's firefighter memorial and worked with local charities like Make-A-Wish. He says what kept him hooked was the people he served and worked along. Time for the afternoon sprint.
Let's get to sprinting, everyone. Culver's in Middleton looks like it's going to a new location. The franchise says it plans to buy Fitzgerald's Supper Club on Parmenter Street. That's just a block away. The current location has been there since 1992, and Culver's representatives say a new location would offer a larger parking lot, better access, and greater traffic flow.
Another heads up if you're driving downtown over the weekend. Today through Sunday, North Bassett Street between West Johnson and West Dayton will be closed right in front of the Brunch Club. Crews will be dismantling a tower crane. The bus stop on Bassett will move to West Dayton, right across from the Park Place apartments.
Wisconsin's general fund balance is projected to reach $2.37 billion by the end of the 2025-27 biennium, more than $1.5 billion higher than originally forecast. Governor Tony Evers says the surplus could fund priorities, including more than $1 billion in property tax relief, while Republicans push to repeal the school revenue limit increase.
And we've got some folks enjoying the probably freshly frozen ice out there outside of the Union Terrace. Our live look on our Edgewater Skycam. It's 34 degrees and we got some snow showers moving through southern Wisconsin. We're going to continue to track out these showers throughout the rest of your evening commute and throughout the rest of this evening. We'll have the latest updates coming in at 5 o'clock.
All right, Blaze, thank you. We'll be right back.
An eye on the roads, and we'll let you know what to expect with the changing conditions. Well, thanks for watching Live at 4 today. We'll see you back here on Monday, and you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000 Plus. News 3 Now at 5 starts next.